What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Maverick Raven coming at you with another video. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't even know where to start. This article is like all over the place. The news is kind of all over the place. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video. But if you're watching, welcome. Glad to have you here. This is from the Epic Times. Before we go into that, though, please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Join our flock, guys. We'd love to have you. The air is for everyone. Now, as you'll see, the title of this says Republican VP hopeful J.D. Vance shows up at court for Trump. A group of GOP elected officials joined Mr. Vance to express support for President Trump outside the courthouse. Okay, cool. We don't know who the VP pick is going to be yet. We just don't know. Now, I personally, so far, would probably lean towards like a Byron Donalds, but maybe I'm a little biased because he's from he's a Florida member of Congress. But the guy's just a G, man. The guy is just, he's always on top of it, always on top of it. He's got what we call chispa. He's got spark, you know? He's got fire in his blood. And that's what we need right now. I like Vivek. I know a lot of people say he's a popular VP choice. I get it. Cool. Whatever. I just don't trust him. Something about him kind of reminds me of Obama. And he's very polished, which is a good thing normally, but he seems overly polished, doesn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Hit me up in the comments. About anything I ever say, hit me up in the comments. I will look at it. So here we go, you guys. Republican Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, seen as a potential pick to be former President Donald Trump's 2024 vice presidential running mate, appeared alongside President Trump in a Manhattan court on Monday during his hush money trial. Mr. Vance was seen entering the courthouse with the former president on Monday as part of his entourage, while President Trump's former attorney turned enemy, Michael Cohen, took the stand to testify. The race for the vice presidential spot has heated up in recent weeks, as Mr. Vance and others have been portrayed as auditioning for the spot after appearing at a recent event at President Trump's home and club Mar-a-Lago in Florida. In addition to Mr. Vance, names such as Republican South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, he's cool too. He's not live enough. He's not vivo enough. You know what I mean? Former Trump cabinet member Dr. Ben Carlson. That's a brain with legs, man. That's a brain with legs right there. And former Democrat Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, now an independent, have been mentioned. Ain't that a B? Just because you went independent. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for your service, Tulsi, but no, I'm good. Later this week, Mr. Vance is also expected to join President Trump on the campaign trail for a fundraiser in Cincinnati. After joining Mr. Vance on Monday at the courthouse, where Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, Rep. Nicole Maliotakis from New York, and Iowa Attorney General Brenna Byrd and Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall. Wow. Cool, cool. It says Republicans speak outside of court. The GOP elected officials supporting President Trump in court on Monday spoke in a press conference as court recessed for lunch. Mr. Vance spoke briefly, stating to all the American voters and American people who are watching this the opportunity you get to speak up against this sham prosecution and to say the American people elect their president, not corrupt DNC prosecutors, to vote for Donald Trump in November. Mr. Tuberville spoke in more detail, calling the courtroom depressing, and stated the repeated use of Mr. Trump opposed to President Trump was disrespectful. I agree with that. I agree with that because I'm a person that I purposely say Joe Biden, Mr. Biden, whatever, because I don't recognize that piece of shit as my president. Sorry. I know I got some hate watchers out here that are gonna hate me and ratio this into the ground or whatever, but that's the truth. The guy's a bubbling fool, and at his best he was evil. At his worst, he's a puppet to be used by his wife, and I say poor because I still feel bad for the guy, even though he's an evil motherfucker. I mean, look at his family. His family is like a Jerry Springer episode times two. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country, and we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in, Mr. Tuberville said outside the courthouse Monday. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the president of the United States this year. That's all this is. Like, strong agree. Strong agree. No lies detected, baby. No lies detected. Mr. Tuberville, continued, stating he was disappointed in the courtroom antics of District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who was treating the courtroom like it is his Super Bowl. Ain't that a B? Because it is his Super Bowl. It is. It is. If he drops the ball here, he's gonna he's going to lose all the points that he gathered by prosecuting Trump. And he doesn't want to do that. And I don't see how he can lose this case when, it's in Manhattan and it's been as prejudicial as it has been. I'm glad to stand by President Trump, Mr. Tuberville added. I'm a good friend of his. I'm here more as a friend than backing him as a candidate for president. I'm sitting there listening to a guy on the stand that they had to get out of house arrest because he lied in another court to testify in this court. He's a convicted felon. I've been saying that a million times. Referring to Mr. Cohen, Mr. Tuberville said he was a serial liar and that there should be no reason that anybody should listen to him. Yeah, true. But at the end of the day, the Democrats are trying to beat President Trump in the jury box because they can't beat him in the ballot box. That's true. Alabama senator added. That's the end of the story. So I'm from the South. I'm here today to represent, to pay my respects to what President Trump is going through. It's a tough time for him, but you saw what happened this weekend. He's got more support than ever because of what they're putting him through in that courtroom. Ms. Malliotakis said that Mr. Bragg should focus on the actual crime occurring on the streets of New York City, of which she represents Staten Island and Brooklyn. Yeah, that's another strong agree, dude. Where's all the prosecutions of these scumbags who are slapping people like Steve Buscemi for no reason, right? The case is called the people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump, but the people of the state of New York know that this is a sham trial, Ms. Malliotakis added. The people of America know that it is a sham trial based on a star witness that is a convicted, disbarred perjurer who lied to Congress multiple times. We have drug smugglers that are poisoning our children, she added. We have illegal immigrant gang members wreaking havoc in our city. We see career criminals being released over and over again. And we see a district attorney that reduces or drops charges against the criminals who are plaguing New York. And so it's truly outrageous that this is how District Attorney Alvin Bragg is choosing to use New Yorkers' tax dollars, wasting precious courtroom time on this sham trial. No lies detected. She's saying it how it is. And if you don't agree, I don't know what bubble you're living in. It's obviously an echo chamber. We're not a cult. If we were a cult, we wouldn't be upset about him, about Donald Trump, and his stance on abortion, because we're not. A lot of us are not happy about that. We would be okay with the vaccine if we were in a cult. We're not. Most of us, anyways. Miss Byrd said she traveled from Iowa to show her strong support for President Trump. He won our caucuses, the first in the nation caucuses, by more than any other candidate ever has, Miss Byrd said, and he will do a great job. We need him back as our president leading our country. Yep, we need it. We need it. I don't want it. We need it. We need it, whether you know it or not. Ms. Byrd added that as a former prosecutor, the things she saw in the Manhattan courtroom were a travesty. Politics has no place in a court of law. 100% agree, but look at Kyle Rittenhouse. Look at the guy that killed George Floyd. Which, don't get me wrong, that was bad policing, but at the end of the day, George Floyd was going to die anyways, and that's been proven. So, but why they convict him? Because they had to, or face the consequences of the mob, and that's where it's gotten to. It's gotten to the point of mob mentality. And that's where no one should lead or want to be led from. Politics should be on the campaign trail, but instead, because of these charges that are a scam, and a sham, our president is tied up in court when he should be out on the campaign trail. Yeah. Mr. Marshall said he had never seen in his career a greater perversion of the criminal justice system. We had more questions about Michael Cohen's feelings than we did connecting him to any criminal offense, Mr. Marshall said, noting that various other jurisdictions that did not bring similar charges against President Trump when given the chance prior to Mr. Bragg doing so. There is no basis for this crime, Mr. Marshall added. This is simply an effort to keep Donald Trump in New York City so he can't go out and speak to the people of this country about why he should be reelected. This president, I've seen nothing here that has demonstrated what I didn't know when I walked in, and that I apologize. The Epic Times Complete dropped the ball and put a clusterfuck of words here. I walked in, and this is not an effective use of the resources of this city. And that's paraphrased from what I think he was trying to say, because Epic Times fucked it up. Pretty sure I'm close, though. Mr. Vance spoke about the trial he witnessed in person on Monday during an appearance on CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, May 12th. The only thing that Alvin Bragg, the New York prosecutor's team, thinks Donald Trump did wrong is that he ran for president in 2024 and he looks to be on the cusp of victory, Mr. Vance told CNN's Dana Bash. That is the only thing that this is ultimately about. If you look at the underlying argument of the case, they can't even identify what it is that Donald Trump did. They said he committed a paperwork violation in the service of a crime, but they won't even specify the crime that he allegedly committed. Mr. Vance continued, saying that the attacks on President Trump were not about the law and not about justice, rather a distraction from the failed record of President Joe Biden. So what they're doing is putting these trials out there and saying, focus on this, not on the fact that the world is on fire, Mr. Vance added. Yeah, for real. He also posted on social media platform X from the courthouse on Monday saying that the dingy courthouse prevented President Trump's supporters from getting too close, and his friends were also prevented from standing too close to him. The president is expected to sit here for 6 weeks to listen to the Michael Cohens of the world, Mr. Vance said in a post. I'm now convinced the main goal of this trial is psychological torture, but Trump is in great spirits. That's because President Trump has got him like that, and he's a man, dude. And you got to take it with stoicism, and you just got to push forward because your family needs you to, your country needs you to, you need you to. But man, I think a lot of people would buckle under this shit, man. I really do. I really do. I truly feel that in my heart of hearts. Mr. Vance also said to the media reports that President Trump appeared like he was falling asleep in court was an absurd narrative. I'm 39 years old and I've been here, Mr. Vance wrote. Cohen can't remember how old his son is or how old he was when he started to work for Trump, but I'm sure he remembers extremely small details from years ago. Michael Cohen admitting he secretly recorded his employer, just totally normal conduct, right? The best part is he said he did it only once and only for Trump's benefit. What a stand-up guy. Mr. Vance has praised the former president in other television interviews this year, telling ABC News in February that if he had been his vice president in President Trump's administration, he would have done the opposite of then Vice President Mike Pence and considered alternate slates of electors before certifying the 2020 election. In his Sunday interview on CNN, he also defended President Trump's direct communication style, particularly regarding the former president's comments about the shame Jewish Biden voters should feel. We have to remember Donald Trump is very direct here, and he hasn't singled out Jewish Americans, Mr. Vance said. He singled out a lot of people for voting for Joe Biden. Guys, we have a country to save. We truly do. And it's up to you. If you're listening to this, chances are you're American. And if you're not, welcome. But we've got a country to save, and you got a big decision coming up in November. You can do your due diligence, research, see if he really said to inject bleach and all the other absurd things that Joe Biden wants to say and the left wants to push. Or you can do your due diligence, like I said, and you can realize that Donald Trump is not a perfect man, but he's a good leader. And that's the video, you guys. Love you guys. Stay safe and stay based.